Okay, 5 minutes today on why I will probably buy and wear Meta's AI glasses. I know they're already out, but the third generation is coming out later this year, and I've been thinking that I might actually get a pair and wear them. Not because Mark Zuckerberg is saying that everybody will wear these and nobody will use a phone. I don't believe any of that, actually. I just don't buy the marketing story that, everybody's going to want to wear glasses instead of a phone. I think plenty of people might use them, but not everybody wants to wear glasses. Um, but I might want to do it. And the reason is, well, first of all, before I say why I will probably get a pair, um, one of the things that I'm also not worried about is um, this idea of the AI glasses, stealing all my personal experience or monitoring me or my cat is trying to jump up. I'm not actually worried about those things. That seems to be something that a lot of people are primarily concerned with when it comes to AI. Come on, kitty. Here we go. Cat. My cat doesn't like to be pet, but she wants to be close to wherever I am. That includes when I'm making a video. So, also, if you notice, I've got this beach look. That's because I got up early this morning and I've been going to a park nearby, trying to get a sun bath in the morning. Feels really good. So I've got that surfer vibe going on. Yeah. So again, I'm not actually personally concerned with this idea that, like AI or social media or the internet is trying to like monitor me or take all my, everything about me. Like, I mean, personally, I feel like that's already been in place for like 100 years. Like, I feel like it's more likely that we've already been being monitored and being analyzed for like ever, probably for my whole life. I mean, that's what like, Social Security and like filling out forms, having ID cards. Um, I mean, all this has been being captured anyways. And like, whatever, I don't have anything that I feel like I'm worried about, the government or other people like stealing or, having an insight necessarily into my life and my experience. That doesn't really bother me, which if you've seen any of the posts that I've made on my Instagram about like AI and, my skepticism about AI, I think I just want to clarify, for myself and the six people watching, that I have a very specific thing that I'm skeptical about with AI, a certain narrative that's being put out. And I'm not in conflict with other things that actually more people seem to be conflicted about. Like, people seem to be really conflicted about this idea that Meta or social media is like stealing your content or, whatever. I'm not in conflict with that for myself. That doesn't really bother me. What bothers me are some of the narratives that seem to be very like, what's the word for it? Um, like a blanket statement about things like, that, everybody is going to wear AI glasses. Really? Like not everybody uses a Kindle. Lots of people read books. Not everybody uses a computer. There are plenty of people in the world that don't use computers still, and they're fine. Not everybody is doing what people are keep saying, everybody, this, or, these statements about like, AI is going to take your job. Like, no, AI is not going to take anything. AI doesn't care. AI doesn't have a preference. People and in companies will give some people's jobs to AI or to robots or whatever. But that's always been the situation, right? Like, there's always been companies that are going to like try to find some super cheap, desperate people in a third world country to do a job for almost nothing, or, you know, make machines that can do the job of people. I mean, like, that's not a new thing, like, what was it, like Henry Ford that, had like, whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't talk about Henry Ford. Like, I just feel like that's been around for a long time, and it doesn't particularly bother me. Um, so I'm not worried. That's my point. But why I actually feel like I would use these AI glasses is primarily to capture experiences that I have that I feel are hard for me to capture currently. You know, there are things that I tell other people about that I experience, like, you know, being yelled at from somebody in a car to like go back to my own country, or like get out of here white person, or get out of here disabled person, or certain interactions that I've been experiencing in the past few years that like when I tell other people about it, there's this like almost like a disbelief or skepticism, like I'm exaggerating or I'm making things up because they haven't experienced that, you know, which makes a lot of sense because most people haven't experienced that or certain things that I'm experiencing. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. So, the idea that I might be able to wear glasses that have a camera that I can activate either with a button or just like motion that capture some of these things, I think is really exciting for me personally because I'd love to be able to share more of that and have proof of it that I can share and post. Because I think that's important because a lot of things go unnoticed. And it's not until we take advantage of the technology that brings certain things to light that those things come to light. I mean, it was Rodney King. It took somebody being able to own a personal video camera to capture the fact that police, 6, 7 police officers would and could and were ganging up on, black people and beating them to death, right? Like one person with a video camera captured that one incident as if that was the only time that ever happened. Like how many times did that happen where somebody didn't have a camera or, somebody, came back from an experience like that and they're like, this shit happened. And people are like, yeah, whatever. Right. And now somebody has a camera and they capture it and it's like, oh, right. Or just recently on my Instagram, I saw this video that went viral that shows this guy at checking in to his flight, and the the agents there, the people working at the airline, basically refused to let him board his flight for some reason. It's not clear, and then start making fun of him basically and try to antagonize him till he just like goes away. And obviously without him being able to capture that, I mean, they would have all the power. So I think that's really interesting. In this situation, he was able to record that, and those people got fired because you can't do that. And they have this idea that, and they probably had the experience of being able to get away with this kind of thing, get away with being able to treat people this way because there's no way to, there isn't an easy way to capture it. And I felt that in my own experience, like when some things like this, a confrontation or some kind of interaction that happens for me that feels like, holy shit, like I can't believe this is happening. I mean, it's really hard to, in that moment, get out my phone. Usually I don't think of that. I'm too wrapped up in, like shock of what's going on, or, maybe my emotions are, getting out of control as well, my disbelief. Like getting out my phone usually isn't even something that I think about. And in the times that I do think about doing that, as soon as you whip out the phone, you know, people here in my experience will just completely stop, and so that you have nothing to capture. So, um, so my point is, that is interesting for me to be able to have a wearable on my face that people think are just glasses that I can use to capture these types of interactions and share them. And I think that that will that'll do a couple of things that are good for me, which is help me to feel empowered again. Um, it actually helps to alleviate an intensity of emotion or this need in the moment to fight back or engage in the conflict. It really does, for me, anyways. You know, a good example of this is, recently finding out that there's an online way that I can report people parking illegally in handicap parking spaces. Um, just having that available to me has alleviated me from the need to engage in any conflict with anybody that I see doing it. That, like maybe previously I thought the only action that I could take would be to like say something. And now I don't need to say anything. I don't need to engage in that conflict. I don't need to get emotionally wrapped up. I just need to take some photos of their car and post them online with the police department, and they get a ticket. It's pretty simple, and I feel better. And it's a path for empowerment for me, and I think that that's probably not something that most people seeing Meta AI glasses really consider, that the power of this technology to help re-empower marginalized people, like people with disabilities, like uh, you know minorities, like indigenous people going through certain experiences that they have a hard time like showing and proving to other people. So yeah, that's something that I've realized could be very useful for it. And if if there's the very real um, if it turns out that people recognize these kind of glasses, and realize that I'm wearing Meta glasses that have a camera in it, and I have the ability to record, and then don't do those kind of things or don't say those kind of things to me, that's good enough. Actually, then they've also served a purpose to like keep people in check and keep myself in check too. I'm also, uh, it's good for me. So I'm sure that, you know, there's plenty of people that are really smart that could have a powerful debate with me about that, and maybe show my blind spots with all of that, which I'm fine with and I'm open to, and I'd love to have a conversation about that. So, if you have your thoughts about this, feel free to comment. If you're somebody watching my videos, if you're one of the like 4, 5, or 6 people that like watches my video, maybe just leave a comment anyways. I'm curious to know who's watching these videos. Um, at the very least, who's watching. And if you have some comment, feel free to comment. I don't want advice, I don't want to fight with anybody, but I'm definitely into the dialogue. I'm into the conversation. That's why one of the reason I'm making these videos, I guess. So happy Wednesday.